Raise your hand if you've gone against listening to your inner voice. Raise your hand if you knew better, but chose not to do better. Raise your hand if you've dealt with the consequences of choosing lust over love. And lastly, raise your hand if you've ever disrespected yourself. Hi guys, and welcome back to More Peace. This is Heal Talk episode 21. And I know I said in Heal Talk 20 that I would be in front of the camera, but on a day like today, where I felt very inclined to get this message out to you guys, this Heal Talk episode out to you guys, coinciding with the fact that I have much to do, it just worked out this way. And no excuses. I won't not give you all the content that I feel is deserving and aspirational just because it doesn't necessarily go the ideal way that I, saw in the past. So nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. This episode topic is going to be touching on the subject of goodbyes. And just straight off, I don't know what the word goodbye means to you, how it makes you feel. I know typically and naturally, systemically, we've been conditioned to view goodbyes in a negative way, associating goodbyes with a negative connotation. And no doubt it can be challenging. But there is good in all things based off of our own perception and the way that we choose to view everything, especially things that we can no longer associate ourselves with, things that don't align with who we are as we continue to evolve, heal, grow, and expand higher and deeper. There is good in goodbyes. Quite literally. That's why I'm laughing. It's like there is good in goodbyes. Literally, goodbyes. And I just encourage anyone who may be experiencing a rebirth, evolution within themselves, having to go in a different direction and part ways with things that once brought you a certain level of comfort. I know all too well. But the beautiful thing about goodbyes, endings, conclusions, is that you have the ability to be greeted with brand new, with the you that you've been working towards. And along this journey of life, we have to part ways with things that don't resonate with us anymore. And I feel like in the midst of that challenge, there is possibility and opportunity to feel good and feel love and feel peace and happiness and joy in a goodbye. I feel like when you are on this path of healing for the better, naturally, you are going to be tested to see and do differently. And it is up to you whether you're going to perpetuate another cycle. But more importantly, I think that really loving yourself and honoring the courage it means to listen to yourself supersedes everything. But again, you are going to be tested. Now, I've been tested quite a few times in my life, and I failed some tests in my life. And I've only failed those tests because I didn't listen to myself. When my inner voice was telling me to do different, when my intuition was guiding me to choose different. But I felt like doing something else. Especially when it came to coexisting with others, saving face for others and making space for others and giving to others and not wanting anyone else to feel like they were being rejected or not wanted. And I have suffered at the hands of those choices, only to have to pause and reevaluate the actions that I've made, the choices that I've made. And ultimately, acknowledging and becoming more self-aware in the fact that, nobody is responsible for any feeling that you feel, whether it be unhappiness, resentment, regret. No one is responsible for those feelings that you feel because, you're the willing participant in the result of your feelings, your actions, your inactions, not honoring your voice and not standing up for yourself. But once you gain that clarity, that is the real war and the real peace. You've got to be hell bent on choosing yourself, choosing better for yourself. You got to be hell bent on it. Stand firm in it. Because there will be a test. And that test may feel like the greatest good you felt in a good while. But I promise you, that temptation is not something that is meant to sustain you for the long term. It's a temporary fix. So when you gain the clarity and the truth of what you are and who you are and the actions that you've chose, you can move towards acceptance. You can pin a bow on it, give it a name, call a thing, and see it for what it is. See yourself for who you are. And then you'll know what steps you need to take to choose differently for the better, ultimately, because you know it's what you deserve. And it's not about anybody else. And if anybody else has something to say about you choosing the highest good for yourself in a negative way, then you know where those individuals lie. But this is about you choosing what's best for you and honoring you, living in love and being in love with you, so that you can refocus on you and the things that truly bring you peace, and the things that balance you, the things that bring you joy. It's the dissolving of fantasies that we have to come to terms with at times when it's associated in goodbyes. When we see and want things to be in an ideal way, but life, God, the universe is gently nudging you, or sometimes forcing you, whether you want to or not, to move forward because you're ready. Sometimes God's endings of connections we become infatuated with, sometimes those endings come to realign us with the real loving connections that we need, and again, that we deserve. So I encourage anyone out there who's listening or have found some hidden gems in the wisdom and truth of what I've chose to share with you all today. I encourage you to find ways to refocus, reclaim your power for you. Listen to you. No one can love you better than you can. And within those truths and honoring those truths, you'll begin to see and feel the shift in the difference, the cleansing of your energy. You'll feel lighter and you'll be happier, all the more because of it. Do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you are interested in receiving life coaching sessions with me, all that information is in the description box below. Leave some love for me in the comments, and I will see y'all in episode 22. Goodbye.